So good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight for our very first Don't Sugarcoat It event. So my name is Rabjot, but I go by Rav, like ravioli. I am the program director with the Diabetes Hope Foundation. And a little bit about me, I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2, and I'm the only person in my very large family who has it. So it's been really nice, especially during COVID, especially in my adult years, to connect with so many people who are affected by diabetes, and having this little sense of community really does mean a lot to me. I'll be celebrating my 24th anniversary later this month. And in 2013, I received a scholarship from DHF. And ever since, I've been very adamant about getting involved in the diabetes community. And as a heads up, this event is being recorded. So just some housekeeping things. Please keep your mics muted and cameras off, but we do encourage you to participate in the chat all you want. And with that being said, I'll pass it over to Asta.
Thanks, Rav. Hi, everyone. My name is Asta, and it's such a pleasure to co-host today's event. I am the co-president of Mcmaster Diabetes Association, but I've been involved with different roles since its first year. A bit about myself, I'm currently studying health sciences. I'm in my 3rd year, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 5. Also really grateful to receive a DHF scholarship in 2019. And like Rav, in so many ways, I think DHF and MDA have just kind of fueled that passion for diabetes advocacy. And even with like such large university populations, I feel like that diabetes community is still kind of small but growing, and it's getting out there. But I had this like crazy idea of a collaboration with all these universities, and we're here today. So shout out to Rav, Hala, Barbara, all of you really who are in this call right now for bringing this to life. I think today's going to be really meaningful, and I'm super excited. So I'm going to pass it off to Hala.
Thank you so much, Asta. So hi, everyone. My name is Hala. It is a pleasure to meet all of you today. I apologize, I'm using 2 screens, so if you see me looking over to somewhere else, that's why. But I'm currently in my 4th year of the Health Sciences program at Ontario Tech University, and I founded the OTU Diabetes Awareness Club last year at Ontario Tech. And I'm very glad that the club is continuing to run. So Vanessa is the current president, which is great. And I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 14. And I'm also grateful to have received a Diabetes Hope Foundation scholarship back in 2018. I'm so excited to co-host this event with Rob and Asta, and greatly look forward to learning more about all the club members that are present here today. And I'll go ahead and pass it over back to Rob.
Yes, so the purpose of tonight is obviously to celebrate World Diabetes Day and the 100th anniversary of the discovery of insulin. Now, DHF, Ontario Tech University, and Mcmaster's Diabetes Association have partnered to host this first conference for students in Ontario and their student-run university clubs that raise diabetes awareness. So during this conference, you'll be able to learn new facts, raise awareness, and network with other diabetes-related clubs in Ontario.
And so for today's agenda, we have it broken down into these time slots. So at 5:10, like we're doing right now, we did do our club introductions. At 5:40, there will be a mini break right before we have our trivia at 5:45. At 6, you will have the opportunity to learn more about the programs and resources from the Diabetes Hope Foundation. And at about 6:20, we will have our closing remarks. So, essentially now we are going to do the introductions for each club, and I will go ahead and begin for the club that I created. So essentially what we will be going over is each individual will go over their club's mission and goals, one memorable experience, their upcoming events, as well as contact information. So again, to start off, I will talk about the OTU Diabetes Awareness Club. So currently the club raises diabetes awareness to help prevent misconceptions and misinformation about diabetes through informative posts on Instagram. We also strive to make a positive impact on children, youth, and adults that are living with type 1 diabetes by arranging prize giveaways for the Charles H. Best Diabetes Center. And through arranging these prize giveaways, it has allowed the executive and general members to be able to connect with others within the community that are living with diabetes, so they would be able to learn more about their unique experiences. I would like to give a shout out to the other executive members that are present here today. Vanessa, she's present here. She's the president of the club. We also have Neil, who is the club's media coordinator, and Javeria, who is the club's community outreach coordinator. So please feel free to give a wave and say hi to everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Perfect, thank you so much. And I'll pass it over for Mcmaster University.
Yeah, thank you, OTU, for your wonderful introduction and what you do. Just as a heads up, I will be sending a list of resources after today's call, just in case you miss anyone's contact information or you want to know more about what I'm talking about. So don't worry, you don't have to take notes or anything like that. Now I'm really honored to welcome Mcmaster University to talk a little bit about their club. So my representatives from Mac, come on out.
Hi everyone, I'm Yashar. I'm one of the co-presidents of Mcmaster Diabetes Association, along with Asa. I'm currently in my 4th year of Honors Life Sciences. I would like to thank you all for coming in today and celebrating this day with us, and of course helping us to make this awareness. I would also like to give a shout out to our executive members that are present today and our general members that were able to come to the club. So our Vice President External, Melanie, will give you more information about the club.
Hi everyone, my name is Melanie and I'm one of the VP Externals at MDA. I'm so excited to be here. So I'll just go over some of the goals that we have at MDA. So the Mcmaster Diabetes Association, we're the first club at Mcmaster which aims to spread awareness and knowledge about diabetes to our community. So this includes addressing any implications, any stigma, misinformation. This is often prevalent in our society. We also strive to support those in our community who are affected by diabetes to help them live healthy lives. We also want to prevent the onset of the disease. We're also active in advocacy and fundraising for organizations that support diabetic patients. And we also want to provide students with resources, any recent diabetes related research, and any info on therapeutic strategies that aim to manage the disease. So overall at MDA, we just hope to be very effective advocates to help spread awareness of diabetes to our community.
And thank you, Melanie. That's it from us.
All right, thanks, Mac, my friends there. I'm going to pass it over to our next university, which is Western, whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amina. I'm the president of Western Diabetes Association, or WDA. I'm currently in 4th year studying kinesiology. Sarah, Muskan, Vedanshi, and Nikita are our incredible VPs, and we are all very excited to be here today. I joined WDA in my 2nd year, really to connect with other folks living with diabetes. I myself was diagnosed with type 1 when I was 13, which is the same age Nick Jonas was diagnosed, fun fact. The one thing that amazed me about my first meeting with this club was how many non-diabetics joined, and it made me so happy to see that students not living with diabetes had a genuine interest to learn more about it. So my favorite memory of our club was our Valentine's Day succulent sale. We planned to hold a booth for 2 days to sell our succulents, but we ended up being completely sold out halfway through day 1. That was one of our most successful pre-COVID fundraisers, and I'm really hoping that we can do more in-person fundraising this year as restrictions get lifted. During our virtual year, we had other successful events like our trivia night and our annual research conference. And one event I'm looking forward to now is our club social trip to the rec room. So WDA has 3 core values: community, understanding, and support. Our club was established to develop a diabetes community at Western and connect students living with or interested in diabetes with one another. WDA is a place for students to learn and share what living with diabetes is like, and to enable a deeper understanding of this disease. And finally, we are here to not only support our students, but many incredible organizations like JDRF, Diabetes Canada, and of course, Diabetes Hope Foundation. DHF has been an incredible partner with our club. at our annual end of the year conference. And I just wanted to extend a huge thank you to Diabetes Hope Foundation for their involvement at our past events and for inviting us here today.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll pass it over now to York University.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us. Diabetes on Campus at York University has started a couple of years ago, but we've grown since. I'm happy to be the Vice President of Diabetes on Campus this year and continue that journey and spread awareness on campus, but also welcome other members who support diabetics, who are diabetics and people who aren't to our club. I've been diabetic for 16 years and happy to also receive a scholarship from Diabetes Hope Foundation in 2019. And so happy to be here and represent both today. Our club, though, is sometimes we have our smaller meetings, we are still very vibrant in our experiences, and we like to advocate for those on campus and also kind of share that with other students. So sometimes we'll have events. One of our memorable events, I would say, would be our first virtual event where we got to host Bring Your Diet Buddy. So we had friends and I guess you could say roommates and partners all come together virtually and share about their experiences, but how they view diabetes and also how the diabetic views diabetes. And it was a really interesting and fun night for all of us to come together. Our club has 4 amazing executives, including myself. We have our president, Massima. We have our advisor, Rebecca, who I think is joined here tonight. And our newest member, Abby, is our event coordinator. And we're happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Rajitha, for introducing us to Diabetes on Campus. Yeah, thank you for all the work that you do. And next, we have the University of Ottawa. So again, my pals from University of Ottawa, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. My name is Muir. I'm the president at the U Ottawa 2 Diabetes Chapter, and I've actually been a part of the club for 4 years, so since my first year here. And my team consists of our amazing executive council, Amrit, Sarah, Kali, Caitlin, and Mohammed. Some of them are here with us today, which I'm really grateful for. And our team has actually a variety of experiences with diabetes. And in particular, Amrit, our vice president, is personally connected to the disease. So I'm just going to pass on to her quickly so she can share her story with us.
Hi, I'm Amrit. As Yasmin mentioned, I'm the Vice President of U Ottawa's Team Diabetes, and I grew up surrounded by diabetes. So my older brother was diagnosed with type 1 at a tender age of 3. So throughout my childhood, I was super young, but I was gaining more and more knowledge about the management and lifestyle of living with this condition. And then flash forward to when I was 15 years old, I was diagnosed as well. So it was a challenge, of course, but with support from family, friends, doctors, and organizations and clubs like these, I quickly adapted to a life with type 1 diabetes. And now I'm passionate about raising awareness and educating the public on diabetes, which leads us into our club goals. So I'll pass the mic back on to Yasmin.
Yeah. So our team, U Ottawa Team Diabetes, is a local chapter of Diabetes Canada, and it's composed of students at the University of Ottawa. Our mission is to raise awareness for diabetes and to promote a healthy, active lifestyle as a means to decrease the incidence of diabetes and to improve overall the quality of life for all. Team D is a small community, and we hope to kind of grow in the community by getting involved with vulnerable populations such as seniors, children, and the homeless. We also want to tackle all the misconceptions that circle around diabetes, such as the disease itself and other conditions that most people neglect to associate with diabetes, like physical health, mental health, and body image. Some of our most memorable experience that I've been lucky enough to be a part of includes Smash Volleyball, which is an annual volleyball tournament that we host at U Ottawa, and where teams from all over the city actually sign up for like a friendly competition, and a portion of the proceeds do get donated to charity advocating for diabetes. We actually have also had a lot of different collaborations at U Ottawa with UOHS, and this is where we actually advertise our goals during the symposium that they host all day. Some other events that we have coming up this year are going to include panels with some professors advocating for research in terms of looking for a cure for diabetes. And again, we're going to have our annual competition of Smash Volleyball in February. If you're interested, please feel free to contact us, and we'd love to see you guys there.
Thanks so much for sharing, Ottawa. And last but not least, we'll go to Ryerson University in Toronto.
So hi everyone, my name is Stephanie and I am the external liaison for DCR or Diabetes Canada, the Ryerson chapter. So I'm a second year in the nutrition and food at Ryerson, and I joined as a non-diabetic wanting to spread awareness and learning more about diabetes. Unfortunately, our co-chairs Roberta and Amina could not be here today, so I will be presenting a little bit more about the club, but they do send their best wishes. I know that joining us here today, there's a couple of our events members as well, so shout out to you. Our mission statement, our mission is to raise awareness of diabetes and to promote sustainable ways to lead a healthy lifestyle in the Ryerson community. We deliver our mission by providing education and services about diabetes to members of the Ryerson community and supporting research. So a lot of the topics include what is diabetes, the risk factors and complications, how diabetes affects all Canadians, clearing myths and misconceptions. And a lot of our activities revolve around promoting healthy lifestyle choices, healthy eating, regular physical activity, as well as campaigning to increase visibility and access to resources and services available to the Ryerson community. So as for myself, this being the first year as part of the club, as well as some of the other event members here, we all share this common memory, a memorable experience. So earlier this year, we hosted yoga and stress relief day. So attending that session that was hosted by Roberta, our co-chair, was quite memorable. It was a great chance to de-stress in the middle of the week and connect with other DCR members and Ryerson students. And we were able to hear more tips and tricks on stress relief during the school year. So I know in the past we've done some virtual game nights. We've had some we've created lots of posts surrounding diabetes, health and wellness. We've had a live cooking show at one point, and we've had Diabetes Hope Foundation and Diabetes Canada as speakers on different panels in the past. So this year so far, we've had our yoga workshop. We're also looking forward to having other activities as well, such as let's see, we'll be also having some more speaker panels. We're going to have more posts for social media to come, as well as informational diabetes awareness events. So we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can contact us by email, and we are also on TikTok. So we'd like to thank Diabetes Hope Foundation for supporting us and serving as wonderful speakers in the past and hopefully in the future, and for setting up this wonderful event today as well. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much for sharing more about your club at Ryerson. It is absolutely amazing to hear from all of the clubs here. I'm very, very happy that we're all able to come together today and share that with one another. I would like to give the opportunity to anyone within the audience that is not a part of a club, if they would like to introduce themselves or share where they're from, please feel free to do so. You can unmute or write that in the chat box. Rob and Asta, please let me know. I can't see that too well on my end, but
yes. Struggles of screen sharing.
Yeah, I'm curious, or even general members themselves, if you would like to share about yourself, please feel free to do so. Give it like a minute or so.
Yeah, I'm just patiently just watching the chat to see a little notification.
Yeah.
One thing I will say though that I really appreciate is just seeing even folks who don't have diabetes having that allyship for us living with it is so nice to see. People wanting to participate to break down misconceptions and stigma is something that I really appreciate. So that's just a little tidbit I wanted to throw in there.
And again, thank you so much for everyone for like wearing blue and turning on your cameras. Really, really appreciate that. It means a lot. Anything in the chat box or anything like that, or?
No, not yet. I think we're okay to go to the next slide.
Okay, no worries. So I'll pass it over to, thank you so much again, everyone, for your club introductions. I'll pass it over to you, Rav.
Yep.
There we go.
So kind of wanted to do like an in summary based off of all the information that the clubs have talked about tonight and have sent me before. So based on what we've heard tonight, these amazing clubs are providing that essential peer support network to students who have diabetes on campus and within the community, which I know has been kind of tough as of, the last however many months of COVID. So I appreciate all these clubs like persisting and still trying to do something. I know it's not easy, but again, your work does not go unnoticed. I appreciate how you're all facilitating access to education regarding up-to-date research, technology, and therapeutic strategies, in addition to raising awareness for diabetes and again, increasing that community understanding of the disease by tackling all the misconceptions that encompass diabetes and other conditions that I believe Yasmin was talking about, for mental health and mental illnesses, including eating disorders and body image. And at the same time, you are all advocating for diabetes, which is fantastic, and fundraising for organizations that help support diabetic patients. So while we acknowledge World Diabetes Day in the 100th anniversary of the discovery of insulin, we must also acknowledge where we stand today. Now, the reality is 1 in 2 people cannot afford insulin or have access to it. There are over 3 million Canadians who are affected by diabetes. I'm sure we're all familiar with type 1 and type 2 diabetes. But there's also gestational diabetes, neonatal diabetes, cystic fibrosis diabetes, steroid-induced diabetes, latent autoimmune diabetes in adults, and maturity onset diabetes of the young, just to name a few. So folks living with diabetes must make over 180 health-related decisions a day. So it's essential to acknowledge all the costs associated with diabetes, including the social costs, when you go out or you're with certain family members, like how are they going to perceive me? But we also have to acknowledge the financial costs. So I did a lot of learning from the Canadian chapter of T1 International, and I've learned that Canadians pay the highest drug costs behind the US and Switzerland. Even in Canada, where we have, yes, universal health care, but we don't have universal pharmacare. And there are 25% of folks who have to choose between paying for insulin and other related medications out of pocket, or, paying for other necessities like rent, groceries, and utilities. 1 out of 5 Canadians pay out of pocket for private insurance at a cost of $30 billion a year. Indigenous peoples are at a 3 to 5 times higher risk of developing diabetes compared to non-Indigenous Canadians with the highest rates of complications. Our current system works for the privileged, but it ignores the disadvantaged. One example of this is that 1 in 4 Canadians with type 1 diabetes get diagnosed as adults, but most provincial drug and supply benefit programs only cover individuals up until they turn 18 or 25. I will touch on this a little bit more towards the end of the night, but I just wanted to share this tidbit with you that I turned 25 near the beginning of the pandemic, and I was wrapping up my undergrad, and March was a very chaotic time, didn't really know what was to come, what was going to happen. And so to pay for insulin out of pocket at that time seemed really daunting and scary. So it is something that we can't be ignorant of, and it's something that we have to acknowledge, that yes, we may not be as bad as the US, but things could still improve in Canada. So again, as I mentioned before, I will send out a list of great resources to check out regarding all the work groups from all the universities have discussed, and even Canada Insulin for All. They're a global representative of T1 International. And I would encourage everybody, even if you don't want to be an outspoken advocate, that's totally okay. I know for me with my own diabetes advocacy, it took some time to kind of break through that awkwardness and just not wanting to shut up about it. But I encourage all of you to look at reliable sources, look at community organizing and thorough research being done within your local and global communities to see how folks living with diabetes are adversely impacted by social standards and legislative changes.
So we're now going to transition into our trivia game. And we have a bunch of questions related to the discovery of insulin, diabetes in general, and we're just hoping that you learned something new today. There's some interesting facts included. So yeah, to join, Hal's just gonna put up the Kahoot and you'll see a pin. I'm also just gonna put the link in the chat.
Let me know if you would like it louder. Don't want it to get annoying.
A little quieter.
Is that okay? It's loudest on my end.
Do a last call for people joining. I think we see 26, but we got 33 in the call. So if anyone's having troubles, just feel free to pop that in the chat. If not, Hala, feel free to start.
There we go. Right, so for the first question, in what country was insulin discovered in? Hopefully it's not too hard. Right, so we have 24 saying Canada, 1 being United Kingdom and 2 being United States. Insulin was discovered in Canada, and the majority of you did get it, so congratulations, and we'll go over to the next question. Neil's at the top. Awesome.
So what university in Canada is recognized for their discovery of insulin? I'm loving how on the ball everybody is. Yes, that is correct. It was U of T. Yeah, majority of got you. Oh my gosh, the majority of you got that correct. So good for you. And Neil, keep it up.
Yeah, some switches on the leaderboard there. The next question, just following that discovery of insulin, when was it discovered? What the year? Did the music just get scarier?
I know it's like spooky season. I love it.
Cool, yeah, 1921, a couple people here and there, but this is the 100th anniversary. So technically right now it's 2021. So yes, it was discovered in 1921.
Neil remains to be in the lead. I'm so proud. All right, so next question. This is a multi-select. Insulin can be used to manage which of the following? Gestational diabetes, hyperglycemia, type 2 diabetes, and or hypoglycemia. So the majority of you did get it correct. So does gestational diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and hyperglycemia. Insulin is not used when an individual has hypoglycemia. If anything, that would make it worse. And we'll get into that a bit later, so I won't kind of spoil that. But yes, the incorrect one from the following is just hypoglycemia. But great job, everyone. See who's in place. All right. Next question.
So this is a multi-select one again. So insulin can be administered via inhalation, pump, injection, or ingestion. Yes, so the correct answers are the good old insulin pump and injection. Shout out to all my pen and old school syringe users. I truly wish there was like an inhalation method, but unfortunately we're not there yet.
Someday. All right, so the different types of insulin, so basal insulin versus bolus insulin. Actually, on the screen, that's an insulin pump. Some of the
I just got rid of my pump that like looks like that. So yeah.
All right, pretty good. Yeah, so basal insulin is long acting. Basically, it's like tiny bits that kind of sprinkle out throughout the day. And then the bolus insulin is kind of rapid acting. So whenever you eat something, you want to make sure you get that insulin to counteract that as soon as possible. Sometimes it takes still, like I'd say 15 or 20 minutes, depending on your body. But yeah, there are two types of insulin, and that's basal and bolus.
Right, so Becky moved out. Awesome, I don't know who the smiley face is.
I should clarify, there aren't two types of insulin necessarily. It's still insulin, but it's just used in two types of ways, if that makes sense.
All right, so for the next question, it's also multi-select. So who was involved in the discovery of insulin? All right, so yeah, this one, all of the answers were correct. It was a team. It wasn't just one individual. So yeah, all the options are correct and you guys are all correct, but a lot of people did recognize Frederick Banting. So yeah, you probably did hear his name a lot, but it's important to be aware that it wasn't just Dr. Frederick Banting, but also Charles H. Best, James B. Collop, and I forgot his exact full name for these initials, but also MacLeod as well. So great job, everyone. Neil, no. But good job, Becky. Okay, great work, everyone. Again, I don't know who this is, but cool. On to the next one.
So what was the main problem with the first dose of insulin given to patient Leonard Thompson? Yeah, so the correct answer is that it wasn't pure enough. So lots of trial and error with, getting insulin right. If anyone has seen that Heritage commercial featuring this, I've only seen, I think, maybe like twice during like November, but yeah, it's a really good commercial and I suggest everyone check it out.
Cool, lots of people on the come up. So James B. Collop tested insulin on which type of animal first? Was it dogs, rabbits, rats, or monkeys? Ooh, so it was rabbits. And I know a lot of people thought it was dogs, which I would have thought as well, but it was extracted from dogs, but they tried it out on rabbits, if that makes sense. And I think they're also using rats a lot these days, hopefully ethically, but yes.
All right, so Becky remains to be in the lead. So this question, which of the following would require the highest dosage of insulin? So you can have like an advantage if you are living with diabetes to be aware of carbohydrate counting, but try your best.
Or if you're obsessed with the carb section of the nutritional talk. Yeah.
Yeah, so the correct answer is 4 slices of pizza. I have so many issues eating pizza. It's really tough. It's always a mistake when I eat that. So the problem with that is that it does have a lot of fat. So for those that are living with diabetes and they would bolus for that, you can't give all your insulin at once because of the fat. You're gonna end up going low. So you have to extend that, but it's still really tricky. But yes, this would require the most amount of insulin, and I would say about 1 slice, maybe around 30 to 35 carbs. It depends if it's white or whole wheat. But yeah, good job to those who got it.
Yeah, pizza's a struggle.
I just want to recognize the 9 people that said Tim's donut, because I know that's a popular one too, to think that like sugar would spike your blood sugar, but in this case, actually, the pizza is a lot worse than the donut.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So for how much was the insulin patent sold? $1, $10, $100, $1,000? Yes, the infamous story about how insulin, the patent was sold for $1, and now we're here where 1 in 2 people can't afford or access their insulin. So mic drop, that's just all I'll say there.
Yeah, I think one of the quotes is like, this was his gift to the world, and it's being a little misused by some of the companies.
The gift to greed.
So before insulin was discovered, what was the average lifespan of someone diagnosed with diabetes? Was it less than 5 years, 10 years, 15, or greater than 20? The graphic there.
Yeah.
Interpreted in many ways. Yes, so actually less than 5 years, which is why, again, it's such a gift to the world, right? I think a lot of those that are diabetic today that are in this call, like we probably wouldn't be alive, right? So it's really truly such a celebration to have insulin and to be able to use it.
All right, so what bill in Canadian currency has insulin on it?
I had to black and white the picture so people wouldn't cheat.
Our editing queen.
I'm actually curious how many people know this, because actually
I always blank on this. I'm like, we're not represented. And I was like, oh, wait.
So about 8 of you guessed right. It is the $100 bill. Yeah, I was shocked when I saw, I worked as a cashier, so I noticed it one day and I was like, oh my goodness, it's actually on here. But the next time you do happen to have a $100 bill, you know, just take a look a little bit more closely and you'll notice that. So that's pretty nice. And I'm glad that some of you know that, but for those that didn't, now you know, and awesome. So we'll go to
also, the Canadian currency doesn't have a dollar bill, by the way. Trick choice.
I didn't even notice that. Good one. I was like, yeah.
Friends do.
What coin marks the 100th anniversary of the discovery of insulin? Dime, quarter, loonie, or toonie?
And this is new, by the way. You can also tell by the year, so. If you don't know this.
I really want to get my hands on one. I haven't gotten one yet.
I will find one though. No.
Does anyone in this call have one? I'll pay.
I got the collector set.
Oh.
Yeah, so it is a toonie. As I mentioned, I forget who I got it from, but it was like just a pack of collector's coins where there was like 2 coins that celebrate the 100th anniversary of the discovery of insulin. So yeah, that I will cherish forever and never spend.
All right, last question. Here we go. What day does World Diabetes Day take place on? Oh, that's fast. Look at those answers coming in. Oh my gosh.
We have an attentive bunch. I like this.
Let's find out. You might like move your finger to the wrong direction by accident.
Yeah, you might have sweaty palms like me right now.
Not even participating. Yeah.
Awesome. Almost everyone got it. November 14th. Today, we are here celebrating World Diabetes Day. Thank you for coming and celebrating with us. And the whole world is also celebrating too, right now.
All right, so third place is again a beautiful smiley face. Don't know who that is. Second is R. And first, Becky. Congratulations, Becky. 2 runner-ups, Britt and French. All right, so let me just get out of this. All right, so let me go back to the PowerPoint. Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. There we go. So thank you so much again for to those that participated in our trivia game. We hope that you were able to take away information in a fun way and hopefully be able to teach it to others. I kindly ask that the winner, how do you spell the name again? Sorry. Brett?
Becky?
Becky, sorry. I thought it was Brett.
It's Becky with the good hair.
Yes, thank you. I kindly ask that Becky, you contact Rav directly through the message on the Zoom call here and provide your email address. And that way you will be able to receive your Starbucks e-gift card. Go ahead and admit that individual. And now I will pass it over to Rob to discuss the amazing programs and resources from the Diabetes Hope Foundation.
So first, I'm going to talk about the Scholarship and Mentorship Program. So the Hope Scholarship Program highlights the personal triumphs of young adults who face so many responsibilities associated with diabetes management. Our mentorship program matches new recipients or even post-secondary students who didn't apply for the scholarship with a mentor from DHF's alumni to provide a continuum of support before, during, and after their transition and through their first years of their post-secondary journey. You can apply online directly from our website. I am a mentor. I've been a mentor for a few years, and it's one of the experiences that I love, especially growing up with not knowing that many folks have diabetes. It's really nice to just connect with someone who is going through the same thing and to shed some perspective and light on everything going on. So that's an experience I'm very grateful for. Next, we have our virtual workshops and resource guide. So our virtual pre-transition workshops and wellness webinars, which by the way, were a pretty big initiative for us at DHF during the pandemic especially. We were able to connect with over 33,000 teens, parents, healthcare professionals, and alumni mentors to discuss their transition from high school to post-secondary, as well as the pediatric to adult diabetes care transition, which I know varies a lot for folks who have diabetes. You can also find our previous webinars and workshops on the DHF website and our YouTube channel. Our Canadian Guide for Successful Transition to College and University is a very comprehensive guide which provides students with a lot of information regarding their rights and accessibility options at 194 post-secondary institutions across Canada. Now is a good time to look into this for next year and to start thinking about what your insurance plans and copay and all that fun stuff, what those plans are going to look like for the future. Next, we have our T1d Buddy Program, which provides social and emotional support for type 1 teens ages 13 to 18. Our T1d Buddies have all transitioned into adult care. They've been through the whole post-secondary journey, and they want to support younger teens as they prepare to make their transition. So I'm sure a lot of folks who got diagnosed as a baby or toddler has a very different experience from getting diagnosed like right when you hit puberty or your preteens. Either way, it's a very tough transition. So our mentors are here to help. They receive lots of training in mental health first aid, self-talk training, compassion fatigue training, as well as de-escalating training. And lastly, we have Transition in the Kitchen, which is an exciting new initiative DHF took on this year. So we recognize the need for providing a tool for students to take charge of their nutritional needs and requirements. This guide provides readers with easy, healthy recipes and tips for managing their diet and their diabetes while they're living away from home and on campus. It's been a really great guide to kind of even get me to be a little bit more independent in the kitchen. So I'm very appreciative of that. So this guide focuses on restrictive dietary needs associated with diabetes, celiac disease, lactose intolerance, gluten-free and vegan requirements. The recipe guide features favorite healthy recipes for study snacks, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. And you can check this out online, and it is completely free. And if you want to try out the recipes, if you have any other input that you want to share, you can always reach out to us. And again, I'll include that contact information. And yeah, that about wraps up our DHF programs.
Nice message. You are not alone. There's so many resources. Rav has shared some. And I think all our clubs also just bring so much to the table. And that's part of the reason why we're here today too, right? Just to share and kind of network and know what's happening on the other parts of Ontario, right?
She's not here on the call today, but my counterpart at DHF, Clara Tyson, who did a fantastic job making the slides and helping me coordinate all of this. So even though she's not here, she's secretly here. So big shout out to her.
I, again, would like to thank all of you so much for attending, and a special thank you to our sponsor, ABOT Diabetes Care, for sponsoring today's event. We hope that you were able to learn more about the different clubs across Ontario that are raising diabetes awareness, and we're able to take away valuable information that you can recommend to others. Thank you so much again for coming, and we hope that you have a great rest of your evening.